Okay, let's fucking go. Today we go over some links, and then we'll probably make a segment. And just still calibrating some stuff. You know what? I'm going to play a bit, and then I'm going to because I wanted to show you that. What's that?
It's unproductive.
Okay, it's just Fatian doing stuff. No, it's not a good classification. Wait. No, that's my old video. Wants to go over a rage. There will be drama, don't worry. But fuck, I sorry. I've saved those links. I don't understand why they're not here. My guess is that I made a mistake somewhere. Maybe I put them on streams instead of vids for stream. No. Yeah, that's it. Segments. That's not what it should be. That's not what it should be. Made a mistake. I made a mistake. Fuck. Okay, all of that supposedly is not there. It's here. It's not in segment. It's in vids for stream. We're not going over all of this fucking shit. We try to I just made a slight mistake when it came to the classification. I'm a huge classification nerd. That's basically what I do. Just classify everything. Everything has to be in its small little compartment. Yeah, this is important because basically I challenged. Let's say that there is an official definition, a de facto definition, which is more than a definition, but we will go over that. It is important to go over law and over not only legislative theory, but also how de facto those kind of places function. This is extremely important in everything I say or do. Oh, interesting. So this is interesting because the Wild Sanctuary project, which are basically doing this The project, which, as you know, I am a hostile against, apparently talks about intelligence beyond life on Earth, whatever the fuck. This is interesting because paradoxically they have a discourse about intelligence, foreign intelligence nonetheless, but then this foreign intelligence, they put them in captivity using a discourse which is clearly regressive or going against a radical view of so-called animal liberation. But don't worry, we'll go over that. I make 1 hour. No, this is probably going to be for another stream. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because this is just let me finish some shit because friends are you know what? I'm going to play a bit and then I'm going to do the real stuff. It just yeah, there was a meme I wanted to show it, but we'll go over I hope you're not hearing some background noise. That looks like a conversation because it's basically a family member watching you know what I do the thing when I just put a bit of chill, non-copyrighted music. It's not the greatest, but it allows for a certain degree of focus and also fill the voids.
Professional soldier.
Now we're just watching some stupid stuff. What I do is that I really put it. I always try to oh, the new mode. That's cool. Where the new civilization already introduced Vietnam and the other one, the China/Mongolia variant. Seems not. I generally hope you're not hearing the background noise. I could learn parts of the United States. Uh, that's fitting. Wait, no. You know what? We'll try that. Kind of change. The configuration is not the same. Wait. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, you can change the number of religions. That's nice. I love that. That's a really cool idea. I was playing with a lot of people in it. I love realism. I mean realism in the Civ scale, right? Um, and you know what? Oh, okay, Kublai Khan, and let's try Vietnam. You know what? Let's see what we can. I try to put myself in the mood for proper segment analysis and whatnot. This is probably going to take some hours. Is it working though? Because I'll change the webcam. The webcam is a disaster. Quarantine is impacting everyone psychologically in a unprecedented way. Even for the I mean quarantine. I mean, we're not really in quarantine right now. We're in under curfew, but it does feel like a quarantine, especially since the bars, the restaurants, and whatnot are closed down, which is obviously justified. Nonetheless, the impact on the psychology of most people is blatant. It did have a particularly vicious effect on myself. It is not. Mm, Nice. Yeah, this is a nice setup for this civilization, especially with the fruits on the volcano. I love natural disasters in the game because they provide with a lot of possibilities to stack. I hesitate. Both pottery and mining could be a good idea. I don't think I have the time for the great bath. I don't want the great bath. The great bath diminishes the food intake, and I want that sweet food. Oh shit, there's a lot of lagging. Yeah, with OBS and everything. Trying to think how to formulate the whole reform thing going on in France, because obviously this would be perceived by everyone as something positive to emulate. And my whole point is that I'm not as optimistic about all of this. For not only for the let's say classical reasons why I dislike the world sanctuary model and captivity in general, but also for reasons that have to do with the legal aspect of all of that. That's why I wanted to do this stream. I wanted to be able to show the legal aspect of the so-called sanctuaries, especially show that they're not very different from the zoo model. But I want to show you the data and just ramble about it for 2 hours. So this is probably be some kind of research stream today. I hope you don't hear. I'm going to mute Facebook. Well, I mean. Shit. This is important. Sorry. This is important, my voice. This is important because. Why? Because the whole problem with sanctuaries is that they're basically zoo with extra steps, not just because of captivity. That's an important precision. What do I mean when I talk about sanctuaries? Well, my criticism is not really with so-called domestic animal sanctuaries. One, because I consider that, ethologically speaking, so-called domestic animals tend to suffer less from the effects of captivity, although also it's because in many ways so-called domestic animals are not confined as much than so-called wild animals. And farm animal sanctuaries tend to follow more something more akin to a farm model, which is also problematic on its own right. But as far as I'm aware, when it comes to like the reconversion of, say, cows or pigs, it tends to be a more informal system where control is less evident, and so on and so on, where relations are more interpersonal. And let's say that my object of denunciation is more about elephant, ape, and big predator sanctuaries, for many reasons that go toward not only the concrete suffering of those species in captivity, but also because of the modalities of confinement, the effects, well, no, sorry, I repeat myself, the effects of confinement of the species, the effect of control of other species, but also the properly institutional way those individuals are controlled. I try to focus especially on the way elephants, on cetaceans are controlled. We'll go over specific cases, stream by stream. This is not going to be today, but in subsequent streams I will try to go over a specific example, show you how exactly this institutional system functions, how the training system functions. I just go over the data step by step. This is important, right? I mean, just trying to. Oh no, no, it's cool. Okay. Sorry. So what do I mean by that is mostly the. Obviously, it's not very easy to. It's not a clear-cut definition. But basically, my problem is with establishment facilities which continue to confine a certain number of species, which not only have concrete express concrete suffering from confinement and control, but which, under the current system of non-human exploitation, continue to be understood as property, the legal property of individuals, of companies, of organizations, or of states. This is why I want to go over the legal aspect of all of this, even before going toward the ethological theory and whatnot, because I genuinely want to have even most progressist activists when it comes to non-human. This is going to die. Non-human exploitation to at least shut up when it comes to specific legal notions, because I know this is they feign to play over a certain ignorance on the legal aspects, but the legal aspect is one of the most evident proofs that those systems are extremely partial and problematic. And showing that those systems are partial and problematic is the first step toward admitting that there's a problem here. The second thing I want to address is, what about incrementalism? Because if you know me, you know, for instance, that I support the idea, for instance, that as a leftist, it's of no use to be, say, a burn your bust, that we need a certain degree of incrementalism. And you could say, Julian, that's kind of odd. Why are you supporting incrementalism when it comes to mainstream politics, right? But not when it comes to sanctuaries? Well, it's not that much that I'm against incrementalism, because obviously the sanctuary model is objectively better than a zoo or dolphinarium or circus model. I'm not an idiot, I'm not saying the contrary. But because we're not going toward what we know to be a progress toward a more liberated model. The problem of the sanctuary model, as formulated by both the activism and the captivity industry, is that it posits itself as a sort of end of history model. Just trying to figure out. Guys, this is what I'm going. This is better. Yes, let's do this. What do I mean by that? Are you familiar with a character called Francis Fukuyama? Shit, was I? Oh, don't tell me. Oh, what an idiot. Okay. Are you familiar? Yes. Are you? Yeah. Are you familiar with a meme called "End of History"? So, this meme that exists since the early 90s was created by a philosopher and economist. I believe she's also a philosopher, I'm not sure. Yeah, political science, political economist and writer, Francis Fukuyama. Well, I'm not going really into the details, but the idea is that with the end of communism, of the communist bloc, or the advent of capitalism as we know it in the early 90s, we achieved a sort of end of history where there is no subsequent dramatic changes in the way humanity functions, and where we are going basically to stagnate forever in this kind of same system where you can have like slight reforms, say, I don't know, gay marriage or this or that small economical reform, but basically you're going to have capitalism. I believe that I extrapolate a bit, but the pro-sanctuary narrative articulate itself, on show itself, express itself, sorry, as what we could argue is a variant of the end of history narrative. When you hear people like Lori Marino or Godfrey before he died, or in fact any of the people inside the pro-sanctuary side, sanctuary is articulated as a form of end of history. They say, we as activists have been fighting against the dolphin herb industry, another industry we know A is an industry, B is ruthless, on C lies, on overtly so, but basically that they consider as evil. For what, 50 years, 60 years, something like that. And in the end of that, rather than have some kind of politics of radical liberation or even seriously considering it, they see the sanctuary model as the end of it, as the I forgot the metaphor for that, whatever. I contest that for obvious reasons, but the gist of it is that you cannot discuss that. It's ideologically ingrained in the software, if you will, of our activism on the people that follow it, that sanctuary have to be the end of the parcours, if you will. It's supposed to be the end of history for these captives of this anti-captivity fight. The gist of it is that they're going to nurture any form of activism. I know that if you look at the rhetorics against political incrementalism, it's an argument that tends to be levied against more, not moderate, but people in the left that admit that certain concessions have to be made, say Joe Biden, blah, blah, all of the fucking meme, that the goal is to nurture the activism. Not really, because we know that those people are going to fail and that people are going to dynamically react to this. The problem here is that the whole rhetorics of sanctuaries are geared toward nurturing any form of activism. I have shown this on stream in a previous stream a while ago. It was a bad one with the bad sound, whatever. But remember, for instance, how Merlin Entertainment was fought back in 2013, 2014 against an organization called those people that was under the umbrella of CAPS, if I'm not, no, well, yeah, I think it was CAPS, and then they changed to Freedom for Animals, whatever. The point is, those people, they have been fighting against Merlin Entertainment, showing their contradiction when it came to them hosting belugas, all of their captive animals in an aquarium setting, blah blah. Despite showing themselves as the most progressive side of the aquarium industry, and then when The belugas were shipped in Hemahain Island. Basically, it's like, we don't care. Sanctuaries, it's cool. No more inspection, no more inquiries, no more trying to understand if this system works correctly. Nothing. It's a sanctuary. We don't give a fuck. And well, that's the article where they basically whatever. I could go. I'll probably do this again in another stream. This is not important. They don't have an activity since like 2 years. The gist of it is I go over that data, but the gist of it, I should really stop to say the gist of it. What the fuck? The idea is, in the mainstream rhetorics, the normie rhetorics of the pro-sanctuary model, sanctuaries cannot be questioned. You cannot even inspect a sanctuary, try to see if some of their conditions are better or not, even try to, discuss the modalities of it. Is this totally justified that we have those in captivities and other, that some of them are liberated and some others not? No. Sanctuaries are supposed to be the end of the parkour. Fuck you. If you contest sanctuaries, you're a piece of shit that wants all of the dolphin and whales to die. That's the normie discourse. That's mainstream discourse. The other problem. Sorry, I have a bit of a knot in my, not that kind of knot. I'm gay, but not enough for that. Stuck in my throat. What the fuck is this? Busky. Ah, yes, there was a reform in the I mean, I'm gay, I'm pansexual. Well, the idea being that, sorry for the delay, the idea being that, where was I? Shit, I forgot my train of thought. Is this streaming? Yes, that's it. The sanctuary model is not fundamentally opposed to the zoo model. Both of them are complementary. They are understood more or less the same thing under law. I believe that at least some of those sanctuaries or refuges, it tends to, in France in particular, they tends to use refuge for sanctuary for refuge, or for some like more progressive zoo settings, basically more or less all of that is mingled. I believe they're more or less fall under the same organization or union-like systems. I'll make some research about that, but the idea is that the narrative that sanctuaries are fundamentally opposed to zoo is not totally exact. There is a certain degree of connivance and collaboration between both. Under law, basically, sanctuaries are understood as zoos with extra steps, with special permits for so-called wild animals, blah, blah. They're understood as property of specific individuals, which makes sense, right, under the system. Again, I'm talking specifically here of so-called wild animal sanctuaries. And this is important for me because most of my line of criticism, obviously, domestic animals are understood as a property, but it's my least concern. My problems here is cetacean elephant sanctuaries and also by adjacency, a lot of so-called wild animal sanctuaries. But the idea is that they're not fundamentally opposed. In fact, part of the problem, especially when it comes to the so-called future cetacean sanctuaries, is that it's absolutely clear empirically that the dolphin industry has calculated this move and that they have some kind of hold over the future sanctuary industry, in fact. This is not surprising. This is not some conspiracy stuff. This is normal business behavior. But again, we'll go over the data. I'll try to show you that this is well shown by the current data we have the matter, especially when it comes to the WDC, Marine Entertainment, Blackstone, and whatnot. They're not the only one. There are other egregious cases. As far as I mean, we're the only future, future, not really future, but current sanctuary system, which is not functioning as a dolphin arm-like system, is the Richard Barry one on Evenden, whatever. But we'll go over that, don't worry. Now, normally you shouldn't hear any parasite sound. There's a danger that they may try to conquer me. Oh, fuck, I genuinely hope you didn't hear that. Odd. Normally it shouldn't be up on 9, it should be 1, whatever. This is interesting as a pass. Shit. Oh well. Oh shit. Sorry, I'm a bit don't worry, I changed my mood in probably like 1 hour, something like that. Yes, I know putting the horse here is not a good idea, but basically the problem when it comes to criticizing sanctuaries and whatnot, which is basically the criticism of Zeus with extra steps, it's basically the same line of criticism with some gradual differences, but is that people will shame you. People will just shame you. And I remember that because, I entered that activism when I was really young. When I was a kid, in fact, at 11 years old. And when I'm 28, 27, I'm going to be 28 in a few days, in fact. And the thing is, I started to more or less question the way things were formulated back in 2010, 11, and people just, I mean, the whole probably the rhetorics of the pro-sanctuary side, which is also a variant of what we see in the pro-captivity side as well, is that they will say you, oh yes, but if you free them, they're all going to fucking die, etc. Blah blah, whatever. Okay, obviously, my point is to deconstruct that with an ethological discourse showing that so-called animal behavior is not exactly as we understand it, that there is a scientific evidence behind, that the spontaneous way we have to understand non-human behavior, the idea of instinct, laws, blah, blah, are erroneous, that we tend to disregard everything that has to do with innate behavior or the capacities to adapt to new environments, whatever. B, that our understanding of their environments are erroneous, that for instance the notion of wilderness doesn't really apply to our reality when we start to think about this. And C, also as well, that there are more social and political aspects behind that, that it's not for nothing that we spontaneously think of those problems. The idea being that obviously ex-captives will and can confront themselves to difficulties, but for instance, when we I rumble a bit, but that's to give you an idea. When you think of animal liberation, what is meant by liberation? Because that's the thing though. Do you mean here that there is no captivity, no form of control, either direct or indirect? Or do you mean, that's like the primary idea, or do you mean some kind of like them being totally cut from any form of human influence and totally included in a so-called family wilderness? And that's, I think, is part of the problem. Because, I think I've removed my shirt. Right. Oh well. Because when I look at the mainstream discourse, oh shit, seriously? Oh, he forced settled me. What the fuck? This motherfucker forced settled me. Do I have... Oh wait, no, shit. Wait, did they change the pantheons or is this a modded? Yeah, this is modded. Yeah, so basically mods, I have to restore. It was a good place, but yeah, it's a... Yeah, I have a mod. I don't want to have mods in it because basically I want to have the achievements on mods lock the use of achievements to prevent cheating. I bothers the fuck out of me, whatever. It's a glitch that exists since the beginning. Mods get bang. They deactivate themselves, even if... No, I don't want the religion expanded mod. Oh my god. Okay, well. Let's try all them up. Now if you that was an excellent map for Vietnam, but where was I? No, yes, okay, liberation. What do we mean here by liberation? Because the problem, as I see it, when I observe and analyze the way it's consciously thought, is this idea that ideally a non-human, a so-called wild animal, should be totally cut from any form of human influence or environment. This is factually not true. Environments today are fundamentally shaped, especially terrestrial environments, are fundamentally shaped by human influence. A lot of people today, how about it? This is something that has been shown time and again by anthropology, by field anthropology, blah, blah. Since hundreds of thousands of years, humans have influenced their environment. They have fundamentally shaped their ecosystem. Not only that, but humans actively possess direct or indirect form of influences, even with so-called wild animals, on changed landscape. Most so-called wild animals have been shaped by human activities, and humans willingly change their relationship to those so-called animals. For instance, typically when a certain number of Australian Aboriginal people systematically burn part of the bush and encourage the growth of specific forms of I don't know how you call that, kind of like sage overgrowth, whatever, where specific forms of wallabies or pandemelo lemons, whatever, specific game animals thrive, which normally wouldn't thrive if humans didn't intervene and whatnot. There are other instances of that, including in Europe, which I try to go over that one day. The gist of it is, even if you look at, I don't know, deers or bulls or whatever the fuck, there is some degree of influence and change because of human activities. Sometimes it's even kind of direct, where humans directly feed animals or plant trees that will feed those animals or encourage the growth, or in the case of some Amazonian or Papuan societies, directly raise them as youngs, and then as adults they became feral again, and whatever. The point being that the idea that there is a so-called wild animal that lives in some kind of ideally forest is a fable. Is a fable. There's always going to be some kind of human influence over landscape and human influence over non-humans. Secondly, a lot of societies, well, I already said it, but basically wanted actively encourage that relationship. For instance, when hunters in many parts of the world directly feed their games or actively modify the landscape to encourage the presence of that game. And sometimes even having so-called wild animals as pets was perceived as normative in a certain number of societies. And they were used as guard animals or ways to attract praise. Well, the point being that, and thirdly, this influence of humans over the landscapes, over non-humans, could be used positively to positively impact those individuals. My point being that, for instance, imagine even if there was a consequent behavioral influence of captivity over non-humans, especially all non-humans, blah blah, and by extensions, humans with non-humans with certain disabilities, with I don't know, some chronic illness or a maimed limb or whatever. Why couldn't just have them as Donald Trump and Kim Nickel will put it, citizens under our own societies that will be understood as family members of sorts, on if we can have horizontal relationships that will guarantee that they will like go ape shit or be dangerous for other humans or other animals or their environment, just engineer forms of indirect control that will allow them to be free in an environment that we engineered without a need for confinement or training or whatever the fuck. Don't you think it's funny, for instance, when it comes, especially when it comes to great predators? Well, for instance, bears, tigers, lions that were years in captivity. At the same time, oh yes, they're like kittens, blah blah. If you release them in the wild, they're going to die in 5 minutes straight, blah blah. But then have them like come out of their fucking enclosure and they become like a big fucking danger, are going to eat everyone and be a public danger, blah blah. Like, it's extremely interesting that we have this double discourse, and at the same time, and that's an extremely important point, and that's why I genuinely don't want to come here and speak about sanctuary or captivity issues as some kind of Jimmy Dore kind of political pundit. Is everything okay? That subject needs to be addressed analytically. By that I mean that we have to look at the data step by step, point by point, publication by publication. Like, okay, people talk about, oh, the white, blah, blah. Okay, what environment? What modalities? What form of captivities? What form of confinement? How the behavior works? How the species works? How this individual works? How the law works? I want specifics. I don't want sweeping statements about captivity, wilderness, liberty, freedom, blah. No, I want specific stuff. These species, these individuals, what can we do with them? How can we guarantee that their rights are fulfilled, or that they can live as an equal inside of societies, despite whatever disability they may have, blah blah, or them existing in an environment where they're aliens, etc. This for me should be the discourse. No sweeping statements, but analytics. Pro caps and pro sanctuaries alike hate that. They do exactly what Vosch had a great he had a great term for that. Broad gesture over imagined hypocrisy. That's what they do. Evan Marino, she said that to my friend Andrew years ago. Hey, you want to dump them in the ocean? Huh? Hey, you want to dump them in the ocean? Oh, you know they're all going to die in 5 minutes. Huh? You want vaguely gesturing toward I imagine. No, wait. I need the exit statement by Vosch, because this was absolutely great. No, where is he? I need to show you that segment, because I need the exit segment. Whatever. But he basically was a vaguely vaguely gesturing at imagined hypocrisy. That's what conservatives do. They vaguely gesture at imagined hypocrisy. That's exactly what Marino does, Fisher does. They all do this shit. You talk about analytics, okay, there's a big fucking problem with that. The captivity still means like depression, blah blah, from confinement. What can we do? We need to rethink everything that has to do with ethology. Isn't there a hypocrisy with the fact that we understand them as sapient beings and then we put them in fucking nets? And then you want to dump them in the ocean, huh? That's what you do. You should be ashamed of yourself, all the fucking currents. Vaguely gesturing at imagined hypocrisy. Whatever. I wanted to go over the law. I'm just going to chill for 5 minutes, then and then. I could try to do it now, but That's cool. Oh no, again! The mod style itself again? Oh fuck man, I don't want that! Oh my god, okay, it's probably because of the say it's because of the saved. Oh my god, okay. I don't want the mods. The mods, whatever, this is it's retarded. Oh, I shouldn't say that word. We're going to restart everything from the beginning. Civ is not the greatest game to stream. Generally, people prefer when games are like more violent or more energy intense. Wait, where's the system? Where? Oh, the religion expanded mode was the one that made the. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. I will try to. Yeah, let's play Asterix. No, Asterix. Oh, should probably show you concrete instances of the kind of hypocrisy I mean, but kind of difficult. But I guess I can trigger that by just responding to my adversaries online. I generally hope to get some currents. I mean, um, wonder if I shouldn't couple that with Twitch, because Twitch could guarantee some early view. I don't know. Also, if you want updates on the device, unfortunately, we're still having that COVID thing on the shipment of some specific pieces of the of both prototypes. It's a it's a mess. I genuinely dislike that. Whatever. No ways. This prevents me from. This is not the greatest place for Amjorix, but trying to think what I can do next. Yeah, no, I could just still ramble. I mean ramble. Just need to show you the data. Problem is showing data is not. It's not easy. It's not easy because even if I show you an instance of what I'm talking about, I can never prove something, right? I need to show you piece of evidence after piece of evidence. It's in the end, it's you're going to make your own conclusion on the matter. First, on the behavior of activists in general, I know that's the case, but it's not the kind of stuff like you can prove. It's more when you see certain patterns of behavior, you're forced toward the conclusion that it must be like common enough to constitute a pattern that structure the way people act in general. I mean, it's extremely symptomatic that there's no mainstream unorganized collective of sanctuaries, apart from obviously the more conservative pro-cap side, which says a lot of stupid shit. I mean, a broken clock can be right twice a day, right? Sometimes the pro-caps have one or two arguments that make sense, but most of the time they're just bang wrong. I mean, they're pro-caps. But shit. This is cool. Oh shit, come on, man. I always do that mistake. I'll do that later. This is cool. Another civilization, that's all. Ah, okay. That's... looks like the Mongols, but... But the Khmer, though. No, London, okay. Oh, that's a strike of luck. Normally, next time, well, it's possible that the barbarian spawns, but... Yep, cool. I can then go and purchase... let's go. They should change the main civilization from like 4 years ago. Ah, shit. I may die. His special ability has to do with mines, if I'm not wrong. Yes, I need, yeah, it's culture bomb. So this probably should help me against 4 cells, maybe. Oh, 3 of them. What the fuck? I have to participate to the lottery soon. No! Seriously? Oh my god, I'll have to first it may destroy this is not good. He's going to there's another civilization. The German, probably the Germans. Surely, yeah. In game, a pacifist civilization, industrialist. Oh, yeah, okay, they're very far now. That's cool. I can. No, no, not German. No, there must be the one we discovered on summer. Ah, shit. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Okay. Yeah, makes sense to put it here. This is to immunize, reinforce them. They beat the slinger, and then the slinger gets, that's what I do. Oh shit. Oh. Oh shit, they're going to force sell me. I don't want this piece of shit to come here. There's no river, there's nothing. There's a river here. It's probably going to sell. No, in summer they're going to force sell me. It's not the. In, in Civ 6, there was a real trend of some civilization being like notorious assholes. And c5, sorry. c6 less so, but still not perfect. They're probably going to yeah, they're going to force me. Shit. Oh shit, they already grown. They already grew. Okay, yeah, that it's probably because of my loyalty pressure. No, okay, barbarians. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Oh, shit. My fear is that they're going to find a way to make the loyalty pressure higher. Okay, they're not going... Fuck, I don't like that. I'm under the impression that the eye of the different civs in c5 was slightly smaller than the eye of c6 when it comes to diplomacy. I guess this one makes more sense. It's kind of a shitty one. If we don't get that religion, it's not the end of the world. It's tempting to take it, but then, yeah. Ah, shit. Oh, well. They're going... If it's smart enough, it's going to kill me. Yeah, oh, well. Yeah, he dislikes me. That doesn't mean necessarily that he wants to go to war with you, but I'd rather have guarantee that he won't attack me. Yeah, okay. Oh, nice. Hello. Oh, England. Oh, God, fucking force-sell me. I'm tempted to just go and make war and just. Yeah, she's being nice. Shit, come on. Oh. I don't like the fact that he has acquired hero. Yeah, obviously he fucking force-sell me. Okay. So no. Yeah, but the hero is going. I can't attack him. At least that. No. Shit. Okay. Yeah, because he has bought yeah, I need to find a way to. No, no, don't destroy my. Don't destroy. He's going to destroy the thingy, isn't he? Fuck. Okay, cool. I'm going to try to take the golden age, but get the golden age. Oh, fuck, man, come on. What a shame. They probably already acquired they will acquire religion soon. What's that? Les habitations S80 en fonction de notre aile, lance une bombe culturelle sur les cases de notre. Okay. That's interesting, structurally speaking, especially for the United States. Come on, man. I wanted that piece of land. I'm going to get a religion. Could take his city by surprise. Okay, yeah, well, no, because if it wasn't for Beowulf, I think I could have tried to attack him. Sorry, I just was distracted by some normie article about environmental activism. Fuck, I wish I could debate someone. Again, not to dunk on them or anything, but if I could bring someone in the... Yeah, if I could bring someone in, but I think the best is to find that video and rage on it. That's what attracts people. I need to take that tea before Bristol. The tea before the English. I'm probably not getting good. I'm not going to get a golden age. Interesting, yeah. I'm not going to upgrade it because I want the tea. Oh shit. Okay, in that case. I need more population, that's for sure. I'll probably have to play a more nervous game because that's what, especially on Twitch, people are more attracted to games like where, this is why Destiny does. I mean, yeah, he plays Factorio and shit, but I mean, his strategies, I don't give a fuck. It's oh shit! Come on, man! No! What the fuck? What is there some kind of like Game of Thrones kind of army going on? Oh my god! I hate that shit. It comes from nowhere and everything. Yeah. At least they're going for Lagash. Just no Lagash. Oh shit, they made their own religion. Shit, they have too many of those. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Fuck off. Oh shit, I nearly have the... Oh, fuck, I think I'll miss it. I'll miss it by... Yeah, he's going to attack me. He's completely going to attack me. If he behaves like that, it means he's going to attack me. What the fuck? Oh, no, I'm quitting this shit. You know what? Fuck you. I want to have a chill game. I could have won in that situation. I don't know, I don't give a fuck. I wanted to go over... Oh my god. I wanted to go over some specific stuff. Yeah, I could go. Oh shit, it's 3 minutes. Could make a segment on that, and then go over. Oh, let me think. Oh, it makes me nervous, but I have to do it. No, let me grab a tea and I'll make the fucking segment. I will go over that later. Oh shit, I'm not showing you. Whatever. Sorry for the delay. Let's go. So I try not to ramble too much and just to go to the point, because I have a tendency to go to the trees and then speak for an hour about something that should take 20 minutes. I want to play a bit before. Wait, is this... Are there pictures or not? Do I have to watch the pictures? She's talking. Well, we'll go over that. Oh, fuck. You know, if I wanted to have my ideal life, the broke people want the return to monkey. I want that. That's my ideal life. That's my goal in life. That forever and ever, you know? Everyone should emulate that. That's civilization, and that's return to monkey here. That's that Uncle Ted kind of like, energy. That's the goal. Fuck. I chill with L4. Okay, so first, so let's look at the caption. So what is my problem with that? Firstly, normally sanctuaries are defined as places that shouldn't have basically people visit and pay for it. That's a definition which is pretty much accepted. I will try to show you the data about this later on, but this is at least informally pretty much an agreed definition. The whole point being, we don't exploit them for profit anymore, but we have a place where they can be safe, blah, blah. The thing is, this rule is de facto not respected at all most of the time. There are obviously like sanctuaries where people don't pay to visit them or where people can visit them. But I don't know if they're the exceptions, but it's clearly not the norm as we tend to assume, especially not for future cetacean sanctuaries. Every piece of data available today shows it. The WDC, the project put forward by the World Sanctuary Projects is clearly going to be some kind of attraction by Berlin, even if it's not directly stated, at least because of financial necessities. And secondly, it's going to be some kind of attraction. They've talked about it. They went forward with that. I tried to pinpoint the contradiction and the lies. Secondly, for instance, when you look at that, right, talk about how sanctuaries can give back to your fellow animals. I mean, Is it fair? Again, this looks like a politically correct term. And when I criticize the notion of wilderness, but think about it. Is it fair to talk about intelligences similar to ours, blah blah, etc., then talk about of them as animals? Obviously, we're all animals on a biological term. Humans are not different from the rest of the animal kingdom when it comes to this. The point, though, is that if we have to have a discourse about sapiency, it also implies a certain discourse when it comes to society, politics, economics, legal rights, the possibility for them to own resources and spaces, the possibility for them to speak for themselves, the possibility for them to make claims, the possibility for them to be understood as an integral part of our societies in a way or another. I mean, we cannot abide for the traditional form of what we understood as an animal. It's not possible. Even conservatively, if we have to extend this towards cetacean and elephants, there are contradictions here. You know what? I'm going to chill a bit because I genuinely dislike her, and watching her gives me anxiety. Blah blah, whatever. This is some stupid shit, but whatever. Yeah, colonialist game. Blah blah. I fucking hate that woman. Whatever. We'll go over. This is not important. We'll go over that shit. This is important. I don't want to beat too much around the bush. I have that tendency when it comes to do serious work, but don't worry about this. Yeah, I like to play the colonialist game, but whatever, we're going to... I try, yeah, Kilwo is there. I could try to, yeah, let's try with Kilwo. Kilwo is nice. Yeah, I don't have the DLCs. Okay. Um, maybe we need to, it could be a good idea to try to take colonialism, something that allows me to take those islands before they Anyway, the European are overpowered after 1700 by then, when they take imperialism. Because then they can conquer whatever they want, and then they intend to grab big chunks of Asia, Africa, the non-Western world. It's kind of a ball. We'll try to play the Ottomans. No, you know what? I'm not going to play U4. U4 looks like a chill game until you get blitzkrieg by some piece of shit. What could I play? Sorry. Kenchi's not the worst. Yeah, I have a lot of characters. What the fuck, man? Yeah, I met those. And where's Destiny? Destiny. That's oh my god, oh, if you want, you're just a bad for him during that debate, you know? Nah, come on, don't be a piece of shit. You know, everything you say, I know it's a lie, you know? Nah, look over the data. You're so fucking wrong, my dude. Oh, my meaty pose keep making me type stuff I shouldn't type on Twitter. Nah, you bother the fuck out of me, you know? Oh, I'm so smart. Also, I'm very handsome. Look at my... Nah, shut the fuck up, you know? You're all a bunch of idiots. I'm going to block all of you on the chat, you know? Oh my god. Enough cover that, go over there. No. Oh no. My friend is sacrificing himself in the name of... Oh, shut up, I'm not your friend, bro. Shut the fuck up. You know, we were never friends. You know, you're a fucking leftoid. Oh no. The cannibals are going to get me. What if everything was for Nove? Politics, streaming, everything. All my controversial comments on Twitter. Nah, shut the fuck up, you piece of shit. It's the worst imitation ever. Oh no. The cannibals are going to get me. Oh shit. They're taking chunks of my very fat stomach. No, Oh no, I'm going to die. Destiny is going to die, okay. What the fuck? Oh my god, I was saved by the goats. I was saved by the goats. Oh no, Destiny is dying. No! They killed Destiny. Oh well. The cannibals had my master. But they will never get his spirit. Yeah, they're going to eat it. Oh shit, I'm going to be eaten. Oh no. No, I have to join civilization so I can be the most controversial man on earth? I am going to debate everyone. Actually, they're going to read the piece by piece, man. That's what they do, all fucking leftists, you know. Cannibals are fucking communists. What the fuck am I doing, man? Oh my god. I think I should join Holy Nation territory by no, I fucking hate those. No. Please don't kill me, no. I fucking hate those dogs. I'll try to escape as Destiny, but I don't think I'll succeed. Shit, is this? Wait, are those? Yeah, the cannibal hunters. What the fuck? They're ignoring the dog. Oh no, it's cool. Okay. Oh, I can pick that up. This is where normally they put you in a cage. Oh, I think I'm going to die anyway. If I hadn't a limp, I could have survived. Maybe I should have waited a bit more, but... No, I'm going to die. I can be so shit. Fucking commies. No, I'm going to die before they hit me. I'm probably going to die. That's what I was saying. I promise. Still have my folks. Yeah, this least. That fucking meme. No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say. I'll try to resurrect him. I'll take a drifter and rename it Destiny on... Change this template to the predefined template I've made. This is boring. Oh shit, don't tell me. Oh my god. Oh fuck, I hate that system. I always forgot to, I do that because they're private shit and I don't want people to see, but fuck. Yeah, you didn't see all the fucking sweet memes. Whatever. 1 minute. Okay. There's just a 10-second delay as usual. So basically what I want to show you, whatever. All of this shit, they say like it's a big fucking win, blah blah. I don't believe in this. So for instance, to show you some instances of that. So this is I was in that organization a long time ago, whatever. So for instance, they say they have, this is apparently what they try to push for. And one of the things they say is rejection of the definition of sanctuaries as refuges for wild animals in law. Why are they trying to push this? What do they mean by that? Do they mean that the previous definition was the wrong one and they want to push for a new one? I'm curious about this. So, I'm going to make, I know the person that rules this. This is not exact, but whatever. Because they say the Assemblée Nationale voted the end of orcas and dolphinariums in the 7 years that come. I hate that stupid shit. This is, again, it could be perceived as some kind of politically correct shit. Imagine, here's the thing. I understand why people spontaneously say stuff like, oh, yeah, I know Pierre-Robert de la Tour, I know he follows me, whatever. Imagine, okay, if you are faced with another that you consider as your equal socially, culturally, that you can have a social and political relation with, are you going to talk about them as a magnificent creature? It looks like something that valorizes the other, but the thing is, that's just consumerism. You're basically talking of the other as an object that should be valorized by humans because it is an object which is aesthetically pleasant to humans. I don't value dolphins or whales because they're magnificent creatures. I don't give a fuck about that. I value them because I consider that they're sapient species we can engage with. That's the thing, though. It's extremely telling that the point is not to try to scold people. It's to try to show them that there is another way we can think of that. Okay, we say the magnificent creature, blah, blah. But can we go beyond the discourse? Okay, we talk of them as wild animal, but isn't there a way to go beyond that discourse? That's the point. So, the amendment defining the term of sanctuary was rejected. What do they mean by that? Because, I'm sorry, the notions, places that define themselves as sanctuaries or refuges in France, they already exist. They're basically zoo-like systems, but also, the other thing I had, which is extremely, the thing I hate in the mainstream normie discourse, which is, again, extremely symptomatic and harkens back to what I was talking about with Francis Fukuyama at the end of history, is this idea of, I need to, now, sorry for the delays, just I'm trying to monitor a lot of stuff at the same time. So I hate that discourse, which is extremely common, talking about cetaceans deserve a dignified end of life. This is so fucked for so many reasons. First, this cliche that wants most ex-captives to be like old and frail individuals, this is a lie. This is a lie. Little Blue and Little White are good instances of both ex-captives which are not that old. Most of the individuals in the captivity industry are not that old. They use for breeding purposes. It's absolutely clear that most of those future sanctuaries want to sanctuarize all of them, with no possibility for some of them to be freed. It's absolutely clear. And a lot of them will encompass not only young individuals, also they use that discourse for the ones that were born in captivity that are very young on shit. So like fuck that shit when it comes to like, I hate in particular that use of the notion of retirement because it makes it draws a parallelism between retirement in our societies, which is basically a weird social contract inside of our societies where it's more or less where people are understood as citizens, blah blah, and basically non-humans that have no consent or are understood as ownership. This is fucked. This is absolutely an argument of bad faith. And there is nothing thing with, okay, basically, there's no dignity with captivity with extra steps. None. Those individuals will be A, confined, B, under a tight system of control, C, under a complex system of quarantine where individuals are separated all the time, on D, at least for some subjected to some kind of like sterilization and whatnot. Those individuals are not understood as persons or people or intelligent sapient beings with like extra large brains or whatever the fuck. They're understood as property on the ownership of specific individuals, and they're basically be exploited under new modalities that instead of presenting itself as a dolphinarium, will present itself as some kind of recover the captive place. And also the people that run those places will run the new places. That's absolutely clear empirically. We can we'll go over the data on stream. If you want to debate me on that, please debate me. Go on stream, we'll go over the data. I don't care if it take 4 hours, 5 hours, we'll go over the data. What is... Okay, so... First I will save all of this shit. Are defined as sanctuaries, facilities which house, care for, or maintain in a permanent way, for all the fucking normies that still like to entertain the belief that no, maybe it's some kind of liberation process. No, there's no liberation process. None of this. There's no selective process neither. Animals of non-domesticated species, non-indigenous, which this is weird though, because I know like so-called sanctuaries for like brown bears and wolf and whatnot, incapable to purview to their survival in a natural environment. Yeah, refuge are understood like as halfway houses before like more defined sanctuary-like systems. Okay, this is basically the same fucking shit. I don't know why it was rejected. It's basically, they're just basically reinforcing a system that de facto still existed. That's just it. So apparently there's no legal frame of what defines a sanctuary. Okay. I don't know, are they like operational or not? Okay, so that's interesting. For instance, they have the same system with cages that we found in Thailand. I know because I went there. They have the exact same systems. How can you speak of them as thinking creatures we could engage with an equal to equal dialogue with, and then that it speaks for itself. It's an institutional like system as defined by Foucault, as defined by Erwin Goffman, where they're being controlled under the threat of violence, under the threat of confinement on isolation. I mean, I'm sorry, do we really have to argue about this? Genuinely. I will, obviously, because I'm a good faith person, but I mean, people, if I go, for instance, in... I want to show you something. No, not that. That's the Elephant Nature Park. That kind of stuff, where they have like those structures, les apréaux, I don't know how you call that. And they have them attached in specific... Oh, I hope there was a better illustration. There's the name of a... yeah, that kind of structure. No, that's the Elephant Nature Park. Yeah, and they pride themselves, oh, now we have the sanctuary. I will go over that because I want to... I'll make a... I'll make a lecture alert segment. Even... No, I don't... No, I'm not having them on stream, but... Basically, lecture alert and whatnot is still the same system. It's still it's just a softened, more or less hidden system of mahouting. It's the same fucking shit. It's the same fucking shit with extra steps. I know it's not popular to say it, but I don't care. I have the data and I can die on that hill easily. The gist of it is that you cannot control an elephant without violence. You just cannot control an elephant without violence. You need a mahouting system. You need the treat of the or some kind of use of, you know, the use of the kind of spirit they have, un crochet. That you want it or not, you need violence to control an elephant. The idea that you can create an alternative system. Well, first, there is a form of control that you want it or not. You have the people that act as a mahout-like figure that constantly try to control or manage or monitor the way an elephant, where an elephant moves, where they have to go, that hurt them or whatnot. It's a mahouting-like system. Secondly, the idea that you don't need violence to control an elephant is laughable. But we'll go over that. However, this is not important. It's less important than I believed. This is normie shit. But okay, let's. Oh my god, I fucking hate that woman so much. Oh my god. Okay, I don't want to scream too much because my folks. Basically, I have my own home. Don't worry, but because of the quarantine, all of this shit, I don't want to be alone. So for now, I parasite them a bit, and then I will. When the situation will stabilize itself, I'll probably go home. Ah shit, let's play a bit. Generally need to smooth the way it works. OBS on everything, I mean. No, sorry, it was just... No, stupid meme. Yeah, it didn't work. Sorry for this. My anxiety is something I struggle daily. Streaming basically allows me to be less anxious. It looks paradoxical, but it's true. Basically, being under other people's scrutiny, I don't know, reinforces, I don't know. Normally, the best way for me to go over anxiety on work extensively was with bars. I will install myself in the corner at the far-flung corner of a traditional French bar. On there, I will chill for hours and basically finish all of the stuff I had to finish. But no, I can't do this anymore, obviously, so. It's obvious still saving, yeah. Yes, another point I wanted to talk about that I forgot. The idea being that if you assume that there should be a total exclusion of so-called wild animals from the human world, excluding any possibility for humans to just, help non-humans daily without him having to be controlled in such a restrictive way, you can understood the so-called white animal as part of your society as a citizen, then obviously the modalities of the needs of its species should be respected. But that's the point, right? How to reshape and transform the environments or behaviors in order to accommodate them. And when it comes to cetacean, we can have genuine relationships. Basically, the whole notion of liberation tends to be fucked because it's this idea they should be totally cut from humans. Why? Why can't we understand that, for instance, the cetacean can live with humans or live a bit with humans and a bit with cetaceans, and this being understood as normal? But we'll go over that, right? Try to give specific instances of what I'm talking about. I hope there's no another sea or city state. Knowing the algorithm, Let's do that. No, I should have taken one that generates more points for whatever. This looks like a nice little place for food is stagnating. I'm probably going to have some kind of. This is good. Also, yeah. So I'm rambling a bit. For now. Oh, another one. Seriously, then. Oh well. Trying to think of I should probably go just review the vid. He's far. Well, in real life, people that were that were confronted to change this current should probably say something similar, but yeah, he's going to attack me. Oh shit! I thought I could. That was a bad move. Ah, this is boring. You know what? Oh, let's fucking go. Oh my god. Oh, I hate that woman, but whatever. Let's go. I already went over that. Whatever. It's 3 minutes. It's going to be like a COVID shot. Is my head well? I want people see me raging. No.
What is a sanctuary?
Yeah, great. My left ear is is enjoying this very much, Lori. Whatever.
Well, you're not going to develop a sanctuary unless you think that the well-being of individuals is important. Because no one is going to save a species or population by setting up a sanctuary. But what you are going to do is two things. You're going to
Oh yeah, I
make
guess she's
life
right.
better for certain individuals who have had their life negatively impacted by our species. And you have got to acknowledge that they have a life that can go poorly or well, depending upon how it goes. And I really
What?
acknowledge that they have a life that can go poorly or well, depending upon how it goes.
What does she mean by that? A life that will go poorly or?
And I use this definition
I
of
don't know what she meant by
sanctuary from the Performing Animal Welfare Society.
Okay, wait, I'm just going to. Oh wait, who is this called? Oh shit! It's come on. Performing.
Definition of sanctuary from the Performing Animal Welfare Society.
Yeah, pause. I'm aware of them. Yeah, I am aware of them. Okay, so they talk about pseudo sanctuaries. We'll go over that.
Society. Paws is an elephant sanctuary up in California.
Okay. I don't know why she defines pose as such because it's, yeah. Wait. Yeah, okay, but yeah, okay, yeah. But there me. Mountain Tree Center, Gold, California. Okay, but which one is the elephant one? Okay, so probably the goat one. Again, the problem with jacuzzis for the okay, yeah, it's two things. So one, land surface doesn't mean much, and it means something. Obviously, it's better. I'm not sure. I believe, but I'm not sure that a significant increase of land use by elephant cetacean and whatnot normally decreases a stereotypical behavior and whatnot, depression, blah blah. Obviously, the problem is they're not just in that land. This is important because nobody talks about that. I'm one of the only people inside of my activism that actively talks of that. It's absolutely clear, not just elephant and dolphins, by the way, this is ubiquitous in zoo settings. that they are submitted to a discipline-like system where they're being herded regularly, daily, through a scheduling system in boxes or like quarantine areas and whatnot. It's obvious. It's obvious by the layout of future cetacean sanctuaries. It's obvious by the layout of elephant sanctuaries. It's obvious by the layout of current ape sanctuaries. This is how they control them. It's discipline on punish, discipline on punish. This has been theorized by Foucault. This has been theorized by Evan Goffman. This is something that if you have any even a superficial understanding of how zoos function or sanctuaries function, it's impossible to deny. You have to be an extremely bad faith actor to deny this shit. We've seen it like with the hey, you know what? Let's look at the fucking is it? Yeah. No, this is the Chiang Mai one. What the fuck are we talking about? I mean, God. Not the... No. That's probably the headquarters. I need... Why is it not showing me the place? I want to see the place. Okay. No. No, I mean the place. The... shit. No. No! ARC 2000 is supported by private and corporate, private and corporate donations, obviously. As you know, one of my main issues with future cetacean sanctuaries is that it's obvious that they need. That makes me think that the Richard Barry one may also be sustained through corporate and private donations. But I do not believe that regular donations by just activists can support such places. This seems fantastical to me from a financial point of view. I absolutely don't buy that. Some activists heard that, but sorry, I Truman a bit, but that's my experience of the. So, for instance, sorry, I interrupted the thing. Is when first, secondly, what they say the given it may be the case. I don't know. I guess that's good, but the thing is, it's not uncommon in the rhetorics of zoos to, for instance, defend their places by saying, "Ah, no, but look how we treat our individuals." There, in French, there is an expression traiter aux petits oignons, like, oh, we give them like luxury food, or like massage, blah blah. They love doing this shit because it's the best way to obfuscate and to occultate. How do I say occultate? No, you don't say occultate, but to obfuscate, to render invisible the structural aspects of animal exploitation and suffering. You know, that's whatever. This is normie shit. Anyone with true brain cells can like realize what is the problem with that kind of rhetorics. That's the thing though. I may be wrong with my assessment of the problem, but even if I'm wrong, you people are not using the good arguments. Your rhetorics are shit. You know that. I mean, whatever, we'll go over that. Oh shit, I'm sorry, just... Where is the place though? Because I want to know. Do they have some kind of What, are you kidding me? You can see them? I mean, I know that the one in Tennessee, you cannot see them. You have like cameras and shit, but like, yeah, you can visit it. Come on, man. The sanctuary, pro-sanctuary rhetoric loves to wallow itself in that idea that you cannot visit them and you cannot pay a ticket to see them. And then I may be wrong on that because I want to be absolutely sure that I'm not wrong on that. I don't want to mislead you in believing. Yeah, visitors. Okay, or how much do you have to pay? It may not be the case, by the way, because even mainstream zoos sometimes don't, like the one in Brooklyn, I believe, is for free. But like some zoos are like state owned. It's not as simple as just, oh, they're big businesses, blah blah. It's more complex, but nonetheless. No, I want to know because I'm not going to play now. Is this the place though? I don't believe so. This looks like a headquarter. This doesn't look like the place where the elephants are housed. That can be the structure, right? No, I don't believe so. No, because that landscape-wise is the same kind of ecosystem where the elephants are. That's those like brown plain with oaks, typical kind of natural landscape that you see in California, which is not really natural because the megafauna that was there to maintain it is not here anymore. And Paleo Indians and then modern Native American population like extensively manage those areas to control fires and whatnot. No, that can't be it. Where is the? This is odd because I don't see any. Can, okay, yeah, it is. Sure, it looks cool, seen like that. But especially if they house all of those big cats, it means that you have like, so if this is a school, it means that this must be the limit of the property. If this looks like sports, it's not that big. It looks big, but it's not that big. The thing is, what I'm trying to understand is where are the facilities that must be it? It's kind of small though. Because that's now given the no, that must be the area. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, obviously, I don't know if that must be the big category. Yeah, this is typically done for. I wonder if this isn't done for elephants not to eat or trample over some trees, which is fucked, by the way, for obvious reasons. But yeah, as you can see, look at the layout. This is layout. Those layouts are typically made for anyone that worked in animal husbandry when it comes to like the herding of cows, especially in the like the Western United States and whatnot. This is the same kind of like dispositive, the same kind of layout that are used for coral bison herding. Is the same kind of shit. On those, this is probably what they stored during their nights. Yeah. This is basically a institutional-like system with tight control and whatnot. You have to be an idiot not to realize that. But It may not be the case, but I want to be absolutely sure. Okay, so what's I love sanctuaries as a place of you. I mean, they say that, but normally sanctuaries shouldn't be visited. This is absolutely clear, at least by definition from the 80s and 90s. And also, they don't talk because when they say no commercial activities, they don't talk about just paying to see them, which is extremely fucking symptomatic. Yep. End of line of surplus animals who can no longer earn dollars. Yep. That's why the sanctuary systems tends to be completely how to put it, symbiotic with the zoo system. It just the idea that sanctuaries are just the end of the line or they will totally replace zoos, I don't buy that. Maybe for me, even if this is going to happen in like 20 or 30 years, the zoo system is just going to reconvert itself. It's just going to do like, if I can use a visual metaphor, have you seen that that movie that traumatized me as a kid? Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what's going to fucking happen. Which is basically they're just going to reform themselves into sanctuary-like system, which are basically the same shit, with some more indirect form of control, which are still going to understand them as ownership. Don't worry, animal maintaining is still going to happen. It's a big fucking business. It's like, I think the third biggest, not the third biggest business. I think that's for illegal goods is the third, but it's one of the biggest. They can still justify it under the use of pedagogy or conservation. Don't worry, they're still going to exist as an industry. That's the joke. That's the catch. The catch 22. They have to go. There's a sanctuary what they continue to bring for their care. Okay, but which one are they talking about? I mean, I agree in a certain degree, but like, to be fully honest, most of so-called sanctuaries are de facto sanctuaries under the definition, or whatever. The point is not to say, they're absolute sanctuaries on that, they're true sanctuaries. All of these fucking fucked. Even if this so-called ideal sanctuary system was to exist, it would be still fucked. But de facto they are. I mean, there's still confinement, control, blah blah, ownership, no respect for notions such as the idea of sapiency, blah, whatever. I mean, sapiency as in elephants, cetaceans. I mean, when they say individually design enclosure and encourage natural behavior, how do we want so-called natural behaviors? Individually designed enclosures. I mean, they can't hunt, for instance, as predators. It's absolutely clear. Okay, so with the exception of a limited number of planned educational fundraising I've had annually, okay, fair. If they say that, it's okay. This is probably not what is going over the Wild Sanctuary project, but at least that, yes, they had like massive donations by private actors and whatnot, but even then, the fact that they're collaborating with Merlin and whatnot, I mean, Merlin is still exploiting de facto Little Blue and Little White as tourist attraction. Why would they pass over the possibility of doing so with the retired orcas from SeaWorld? I mean, Merlin tried to purchase SeaWorld. They're considered as their sister company under Blackstone. It's absolutely clear that they want to make a tourist attraction, or at least that this is their agenda. The idea that they're not trying to do that is laughable. I mean, Okay, this is not interesting. Let's go back to all.
Their work is stunning, beautiful, and, they've taken in.
Okay, she speaks like fucking Trump. I know she wasn't a very good debater, but whatever. We're going to make a great orca sanctuary. The tremendous orca sanctuary is going to be the biggest sanctuary of all. We're going to make a big fucking enclosure, and the orcas are going to pay for it. Going to pay for it. Whatever. The thing is, I love, it's not the first time I called her, like, talking about beautiful sanctuaries. I fucking hate a lot of terms. She's a scientist. She shouldn't talk in such loaded terms. Beautiful, what does it mean? I don't care if something looks beautiful. I care about something being ethical or efficient or the structure of exploitation behind this on stuff. She talks about beautiful, whatever. This is politician talk. She talks like, whatever. This is not
Not just
important.
elephants, but many, many other animals rescued from circuses and roadside zoos and so forth.
Don't you think symptomatic that someone which became in less than a few years the forefront of her activism, the person that officially represents the idea of cetacean sapiens in public, having, for instance, totally replaced someone like, say, Kenneth Levasseur, or even someone like Dean Moore as a lukewarm progressivist, but which I still understood as better of an activist idea-wise than Marino, like Kenneth Balcombe, talks of like cetaceans as animals. And again, it's not a discourse thing. It's not a politically correct thing. If we are to create a renewed form of activism, we have to put certain bases. And obviously, the point is not to shame people or whatever. It's to put a current basis. If we're to understand them as people, we have to at least question this understanding of them as animals. Whatever. This is not.
And so this is their definition of what a real sanctuary is. First of all, a wildlife sanctuary is a place of refuge where abused, injured, and abandoned captive wildlife may live in peace and dignity.
Here's the thing again. What do they mean by dignity? Like, again, I've talked about this before. Dignity is an extremely loaded term. That means a lot, but what dignity is there? I mean, I know what they mean, like no circus trick, blah, blah, but that's my problem, though. I obviously, like, this is objectively better than a fucking circus or whatever. But the fact that they obfuscate obvious form of exploitation and confinement is my problem here. They know there's a problem. They're not trying to acknowledge that. They could at least say, okay, we have that system, it's partial, but we believe it's better. They don't even say that. They just totally monopolize the discourse. They don't even think about, okay, maybe there is a possibility of freeing, blah, blah, under those modalities. We think about that. It's extremely blatant when it comes to cetacean sanctuaries, because there are alternatives that were put forward by some other activists, namely or mostly the third phase program by Kenneth Levasseur. This is completely being ignored by those people. Completely. And it's not as if they try to discuss it or they try to debunk it on actively said, okay, yes, there's the Levasseur system, but we don't agree because of this and this and that. No, they just, we don't care. Like activists that were absolutely foundational to the history of militantism, that were here since the 70s, they don't care. It's whatever.
For the remainder of their lives. So sanctuaries aren't the same as rescue operations, rescue and rehab and release operations.
They say that, but they tend to cultivate the ambiguity. This is obvious by certain common discourse in activism. What they say sanctuaries to mean refuge, this whatever. I mean, here again, yes, they precise that, but generally in the common discourse, they always like, here's the thing, how to put this, because I don't want to strawman. I see articles or publication made even by influential figures, but they're going to say, oh, we want to put Lolita in a sanctuary, or they talk of sanctuaries to talk about some liberation process, and it's like tolerated. Basically, they cultivate the ambiguity. That's my point. And they let flow this idea that, oh, sanctuaries, there may be another kind of system where some of them can be freed. I insist on that. Those people don't want any of their captives to be freed. None of them. Some activists which try to cultivate hope, blah blah, like to, they sorry, cultivate certain hopes about, well, yeah, okay, but maybe some of them under some kind of trial process, blah blah, may be freed. No, 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 no. The only one that allegedly wants to do that is Rick on Evan. Then I don't believe him. But I will have to go. I would love to have Rick online. Again, not to own him or whatever, to have a good fair conversation. I go over the Rick system. You know what? I can try to do this tomorrow. We'll go over the Rick. I'll make whatever. This is not important.
Thoroughly.
Also, Rick or Marino fucking hate each other. They basically, the Widicy / Merly / Marino / Visa / Foster block fucking hates Rick. Rick, I have grievances against Rick for obvious reasons, but I believe that he's more progressive than his peers, and his progressivism led him to be marginalized by this new activist bloc in the early 2010, but I'll go over that. There is extensive evidence for that. I'll try to go over the data, and again, if you believe that I'm wrong, please go on stream and debate me. I will go over the data.
In sanctuaries, you don't breed. So if you ever go somewhere and they call themselves the Wildcat Sanctuary and they're breeding the animals, it's not a sanctuary, it's a zoo.
She speaks exactly how I expected her to speak. Oh my god. The coroner, whatever. I'm not going to mock her for the way she presents, but
Dressed up like a sanctuary. The last thing you want to do.
Also, it's very funny because breeding politics in zoos, I mean, I don't like conservation politics by zoos, but you have to accept that de facto, there's a ton of individuals from threatened species that are in there, and I would prefer them to be freed and bred rather than not. There are problems. I'm extremely critical of zoos. On their argument, the use of conservation is extremely problematic for many reasons, but they're here. If we were to follow the sanctuary model by the letter, we will have to condemn also the breeding policies of nearly extinct populations, which is extremely problematic. I'm extremely critical of them, extremely critical, and I can bring concrete instances like on the California condor, the European wisent, the speaks Arab, blah blah. I could go over that data, but the gist of it is that whatever. The point being that this is a side point. This is not important.
Is make more individuals in captivity, and there should be no exploitation for commercial purposes.
Yep. Which the World Sanctuary Project is going to do. This is obvious from data. The current Merlin Sanctuary in Hemahe is doing that. The Sea Refuge System as chaperoned by the WDC, which was ridden by, I believe, NCAPS, and then by this Italian organization called ILIV, is also doing that. Don't lie, please. Whatever.
Again, if you go somewhere and they say you can take a picture with the tiger.
Yes, that's exploitation in that sense. She's talking notably about the so-called tiger temples in some southeastern Asian countries. The thing is, here's the thing, this is important. You don't need this is interesting because she jumped toward this instead of talking about just the fact that you go pay to see them. It's not just interacting with them. You don't need circus tricks or touching them, whatever the fuck, to have exploitation. Exploitation can be passive. You can have the simple fact that you have an ownership over a non-human or a human, and you have to pay money to see them is de facto a form of exploitation. The display of so-called freaks, human freaks that were that sported a certain number of deformities by circus-like attractions, facilities in the end of the 19th century, on the turn of the century, was de facto exploitations. Like, exploitation, whatever, this is detail.
It is not a sanctuary. It is a zoo. A true
Yep. Zoos and sanctuaries constantly, here's the thing, a lot of zoos love to cultivate ambiguity with the sanctuary model. Both of them can more or less hybridize. I mean, there is a certain, the idea that sanctuaries and zoos are like, they're basically the two faces of Janus. The idea that they're completely like in some kind of like, eternal war for the ownership of non-humans is not exact. It's whatever. But we'll go over the data.
sanctuary respects the integrity of individual animals.
Okay, you're wrong, Laurie. So here's the thing, though. Where is the respect of the integrity of the non-humans if A, they're captive, obviously, B, they can't have access to some of their basic shit that they do as non-humans, for instance, predators to hunt or to go outside a bit, that even some dolphinariums do, like Herdewijk or Rotan or the, who is it called? Unexo. Third time the charm. It's extremely symptomatic that some fringe elements of the dolphinarium industry are more progressivist than some of the future sanctuaries. So, fourthly, this is extremely important, the problem of bodily autonomy. Okay, again, like, I know that as far as I'm aware, sterilization is only going to be chemical sterilization, which is reversible. And two, the dolphin industry already does it, etc., etc. Yes, but if you are to consider them as people, if you are to consider them as cultural beings under social and political modalities, you cannot ignore the problem of bodily autonomy. It cannot be ignored, Laurie. And this is one of my grievances with not only the sanctuary model, but the mainstream understanding of cetacean, the mainstream handling, for instance, by research agencies, by rescue agencies, for instance, the use of the monitoring to satellite marking, tagging, and so on. You can argue until the sea coast come home, if you will, about the pragmatic utility of this for conservation or rescuing purposes, but it does pose the problem of bodily autonomy that we want it or not. It does pose it. And one of the, this is the thing, if I manage to speak to a dolphin, I mean to make first contact, blah, blah, to expand that, I believe that one of the first things we have to engage with is, what about asking them what they want in terms of, sorry, I don't pronounce this right. What about asking them before, like, putting stuff on their body or tearing their bodies? What about asking them what they want? We know we can, and that's the crazy thing as well. Because Marino is a perfect representative of a certain cognitivist trend in animal behavioral studies. Cognitivists recently have put a lot of work in putting forward the linguistic possibilities, not possibilities, the linguistic capabilities of a lot of non-humans, not only cetaceans, but also elephants, but obviously with apes, but also even species that we didn't even imagine that they have linguistic capabilities. They have been shown with dogs recently. In the light of all of this, why is there no project to try to have them talk? I mean, through some kind of lexicographic system, through some kind of interface as put forward by Herzing or by Herman. And God knows I hate Herman, but or like the fact that there's not even some primitive fetal like system to nothing embryonic. I don't mean fetal, embryonic, like system to go to all this is extremely fucking symptomatic. Do you realize this? They want to maintain them as voiceless, or not just okay apes, some like upper vertebrates, we know we can have basic convert. No, 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 no. Cetaceans, sapient species that have cultures, and it's totally being ignored. Whatever. I mean, end of the rambling. But the idea is that there is no dignity here, there is no respect here, and there's surely no integrity here. The idea that there is some integrity is, come on.
Providing safe, healthy, and secure refuge
I mean, here's, whatever, it's terminology.
in enclosures, and yes, it is still captivity,
Yes, Laurie, that's the problem. We will go over that.
specifically designed for the unique
At least she says that, which is whatever.
animal which it supports. But the key here is that in a sanctuary, it's all about the animals, the
Nope.
well-being of the
Nope. It's all about the humans. You know why, Laurie? Because there is no questioning of the fact that we continue to own them, continue to subject them to a system of institutionalization and control, and continue to understand them as the de facto ownership of people and states. They just are. The fact that, again, I know this is a poorly addressed problem, even in extremely like fanatical aspects of the anti-speciesist movement, blah blah. But it's impossible. Again, my problem is you can argue toward the pro-sanctuary side, and I'm ready to have this good faith discussion. But the fact that none of those people, I'm not strawmanning. This is my general experience of this. It just is the general experience of the problem. The fact that some of the key issues, just as ownership or exploitation or institutionalization, is not put forward by those people is extremely symptomatic. It has to be admitted. Again, it's cool from her boat that she at least explicit that when it comes to captivity, but this is whatever.
residents is the priority. It is not about the visitor experience. It is
Is it? Isn't it, Laurie? I mean, Marlene, Blackstone, all of this shit, whatever.
not about anything else. It
And by the way, I'm curious about this because if most of the current sanctuary projects, like the Barcelona one, the Baltimore one, the one by Australia for dolphin, and all of this shit comes to happen, I wonder if there's going to be tensions on, fights between them when it comes to some saying that, oh, we are the true sanctuaries, fuck you, to others. I don't know. Whatever, we'll
is
see. That.
about those individuals and what you can do to give back to them as much as possible of what has been taken from them by the entertainment industry. Not about
The entertainment industry, Merlin Entertainment, and Sea Life are part of, oh, come on, whatever.
anything else. It is about those individuals.
Okay, yeah, it's boring. This is segment of a conference. Whatever. I'm done with fucking Laurie. I'm going to chill. Maybe I guess we could go. Let's. This is interesting because Politics of Species is an interesting title by itself. This is 2014. Oh my God, she's just talking. Okay. So who wrote that? Politics of Species. They say it must be some kind of compilation. But dolphins are more inclusivity, yeah. Sure, Laurie. Okay. What's that? Race and species in the post. That's interesting. This is interesting though. Yeah, it's I'll go for it because it's extremely interesting. I need that. I'll probably buy the book. Oh my god, it's not. I try to have access to that.
Other animals, and specifically marine mammals, really began formally after I did the self-recognition work with captive dolphins. Now,
Wait, what? What? Sorry, I missed.
well, my work in the area of
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's.
years ago, 12 years ago, really began formally after I did the self-recognition work with captive dolphins now 11 years ago, 12 years ago. Well, the work that we did to show that bottlenose dolphins recognize themselves in mirrors involved exposing two bottlenose dolphins in captivity to a mirror and actually probing whether or not they would use the mirror to investigate their own body.
It's there's no objection here. It's basically that I think extremely symptomatic that whatever. It's just basically this kind of experiment, especially in the 90s, confirmed most of what we knew about cetacean cognition for several decades now. There was nothing surprising about this. I mean, there were. I think there were some experiments made by I don't remember if Horace Dobbs or Jen Plug with solitary dolphins on mirror that confirmed whatever. It's this is not important. It's let's say that the extreme narrow cognitivist framework of Marino is, I believe, symptomatic of part of the problem with the way she understood the problem, the thing, whatever, it's not important.
What we
I'm just rambling right now.
found is that these bottlenose dolphins not only used the mirror to investigate marks on their own body, but they were really into it and really exceeded our expectations in terms of how motivated they were to use the mirror as a tool to check themselves out. Our findings on self-recognition in bottlenose dolphins
What did she say? I'm sorry.
and really exceeded our expectations in terms of how motivated they were to use the mirror as a tool to check
Okay,
themselves
so two things. One is I believe symptomatic that Marino moment of like enlightening when it comes to cetacean intelligence was made when it comes to a mirror test when there was like a ton of data before that that clearly went into the direction of not only cetacean high cognition but cetacean sapiency. I mean, the second thing is that's interesting though, because what pushed her toward the idea of cetacean sapiency is not the brain. It was a behavioral thingy. Like, don't you think that's symptomatic though? I mean, because that's what my main problem with the excessive use of the brain argument, right, is that its implication is we cannot surely tell mental, which is basically behaviorist bullshit, but we cannot tell with certainty mental states or capacity, blah, blah, from behavior itself. But most people that argue, that use the brain argument, they use that because they're very well aware of the specificities and realities of cetacean behavior. They didn't just stumble over like brains in a vat, like brains that just abstractly beach themselves on the beach. No, they've witnessed aspects of cetacean behavior that qui leur ont mis la puce à l'oreille, that indicated them that there was something here, and then they started to focus on the brain argument to try to confirm this. But that for me is the cocked part, because I think no. I mean, if you look at the whole of the data about cetacean behavior, plus what we know of the physiology, plus what we know of the acoustics, plus what we know of the linguistics, plus what we know of everything cognitive, experimental, blah, blah, plus what we know of their evolutionary history, plus what we know of their brain as well. I'm not totally excluding it, I'm just saying that it shouldn't have the place it has. We're forced to that conclusion. The problem here is, whatever, I'm rambling right now.
Out. Our findings on self-recognition in bottlenose dolphins tell us that these are self-aware beings.
We already knew that. We already knew that. Arguably, we already knew that since Johnson Lilly. It's extremely, that's my problem though, like, whatever, I'd explained this before, so this is not interesting, whatever.
And it means that they have a sense of me, a sense of I, an autobiographical sense, particularly in the
That's a good metaphor, I like it. Hey, if Marino does something I like, I say it, come on.
bodily realm. So there's somebody there. And that led me to question whether or not I should support keeping them in captivity.
Which you do, Laurie, that's the problem. I won't be raging at your vids if you tell, whatever.
And my answer was no. I think personhood has many different facets to it, and it depends upon whether you're talking about it on a moral philosophical level or whether you're talking about it on a legal level. So for instance, on a legal level, personhood has a very strict definition which is silent on whether or not we should see other animals morally or philosophically as other persons.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the problem of corporate personhood, the fact that we've given personhood de facto to mountains, trees, whatever the fuck, but...
It's
yeah.
definitely much cleaner. Now, from a moral philosophical perspective, that's where it gets messier, where we really need to figure out exactly what we mean. But in the legal sense, it's quite clear what it means. It means the ability to have some fundamental rights. Well, my work...
Yeah, and that's the problem though. Because for instance, for very pragmatic reasons, the ability to have,
what it means the ability to have some fundamental rights.
yeah, some fundamental rights. Sorry, I knew the formulation in my head, but this is something we gave to corporations. We gave that to trees. That's part of the problem. The notion of personhood is not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. But we'll go over that.
Well, my work with the Non-Human Rights Project has been to gather the scientific evidence that they need to make their case for legal common law personhood in chimpanzees. And there are other animals that are being considered as well. And the scientific evidence...
I think it's really symptomatic, though, that they, just excluding the world citation thing, so on, I may talk in bad faith, but this focus on chimps, gorillas and orangutans, as far as I'm aware, are not different from chimpanzees and by extension bonobos, the pangenus, in terms of cognition and whatnot. They're closer to us genetically, but as far as I'm aware, there is no evidence, for instance, that cognitively or linguistically speaking, gorillas on well, whatever, this is not important. I'm sorry, I cherry pick a lot, but no, not cherry pick. I mean, I tend to stop at every little sentence to talk about something very indirect. I'll stop that. It's a habit I have also.
Evidence is going to be used as the basis for the legal arguments. I've worked with dolphins, I've worked with chimpanzees,
I wasn't aware of that,
and a few other animals, and I've also done a lot of work looking at the effects of captivity in elephants, for instance, and I find commonalities across all of these types of beings in terms of what they suffer in captivity.
I didn't know that. That's fair. But that's a good thing. Objectively, that's also what I'm doing. So,
and the ways in which they we relate to them in the wild. I think that there
that's where it
is
becomes cringe.
Something going on in the air that means that we're the closest we've been in history to a shift or a transformation in how we perceive other beings, human and non-human, and also how we relate to them. I see that
It's
in
interesting that she talks about humans and non-humans. I guess she wants to put herself in the continuity of progressively leftist movements, but whatever. She's failing at it, so.
and the kinds of public comments that people make about captivity, about extinction, about how we treat the other animals, including the fact that the Non-Human Rights Project has been almost unanimously positively received by the media and the public. Well, I think neuroscience as a field discipline has informed
And that's where it becomes
what
cringe.
we know about who the other animals are. It's certainly not the only way, and it
Yes,
can't
Laurie.
prove anything.
Yes, Laurie. That's the problem, though. That's the issue. I'm sorry to sorry.
Informed what we know about who the other animals are. It's certainly not the only way, and it can't prove anything, but it certainly
so-
can be used as a tool to.
Yeah, no, she's right. I mean, when we say prove, we cannot prove anything in the strict sense, right? I don't know what's in your head. I don't know if I'm in the matrix, blah blah. But we can. The gist of what I try to say is that we can make extremely good educated guesses from behavior as a whole. That we have a theory behind which is coherent, and most importantly, makes sense, and is coherent with the synthetic theory of evolution. And that we cannot in good faith ignore the fact that behaviors put us in certain direction when it comes to the interpretation of human minds and subjectivity and whatnot, on internal mechanisms and whatever. But I agree with her on that. I mean, it's nothing transcendent.
To explore this issue about who someone is. And I say that without endorsing invasive neuroscience research on other animals, which I do not support.
Cool.
Blackfish, I was so honored to be part of Blackfish because it really is a film that exposes what we've all known.
This is normie shit. This is not very interesting. I want to go to the beef, to the meat of the argument. I could say that with a few differences. This is not really.
Behind the scenes at these marine mammal entertainment facilities. And it was thrilling to work with some of the ex-trainers because they really were on the ground. They know. They were there. And to see all of that come together was really thrilling. I think the film represents an exploration, a very objective exploration of what happens behind the scenes at SeaWorld and some of these other like-minded places. Sure, dolphin-assisted therapy is a worldwide industry.
Yeah, what she's saying is right, basically. Laurie has attacked quite frontally with the swimwear industry on the DIT by extension. The DIT, no, sorry. Specifically DIT, not the swimwear in general. But I agree with her on that. This is normie shit. I don't disagree with her.
Whereby you get into the water with typically a captive dolphin and you are promised everything from a cure for autism to a cure for AIDS or cancer and everything.
I didn't knew that. Okay, so this is interesting. So I'm not aware about the AIDS and cancer thing. I have a doubt if it's the dolphinarium itself that entertain that discourse, or if there are like third hands, new age gurus, organizations, blah blah, that redirect people towards those places by organizing excursions and whatnot. There is an obvious type of the DIT industry with the new age industry, basically. The autism thing. This is the primary argument used by DIT. It's they talk I don't know if they talk explicitly about a cure of autism, but at least as a form of relief of autism. That ties also a lot toward certain current discourse, but notably forward by autistic people with autism, autistic people themselves in an organized way against a certain conception of autism as a pathology, on the whole idea of neurodivergency, blah blah, whatever. This is a side thing, but yeah, she's. And I wasn't aware of the AIDS or cancer thing. That may be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the case. I will have to look at the data.
Queen. And I've done a lot of research looking at the claims of the dolphin-assisted therapy industry, and I can tell you unequivocally that it is a scam. It's a worldwide scam.
So that's I don't defend dolphin-assisted therapy, but it's a detail basically. But basically, there may be a positive effect of some studies, notably, I believe that Dominique Servet has put that forward. There may be some kind of positive impact of swimming with dolphins and whatnot, on the mood, on stuff, depression and whatnot, on average. But this is not different from not only the use of other animals such as horses, but also from even the use of artificial dolphins. This is why Dr. Nathanson has created this like artificial dolphin dome, blah blah. This is also why some DAT or DAT adjacent systems are used by or were used by people like Horace Dobbs on free populations in a non-invasive way, whatever. But this is a detail. This is whatever. This is I'm not interested by that.
That
I mean, this is
not only exploits dolphins, but exploits desperate people as well. Yeah, you know, it's so interesting because the only reason that dolphin-assisted therapy is such a popular industry is because it hits the button in almost everyone that says that we love dolphins, the dolphin mythology. Without that dolphin mythology, it wouldn't thrive. You've never heard of, you know, giraffe
yes,
therapy.
yes, she's right on this. She's right on this. I say that for years. How someone that okay, so here's the thing. I believe on my research, I haven't published that yet, but my private research that we try to stream on such, led me to believe that there is a specific dolphin figure that has been forced in the early 60s, particularly by Lilly and some others. And I believe this is tied somehow to a certain novel colonial view of the oceans that emerged in the 60s in the United States. This is a whole thingy. I'm not going to go over that. I was criticized by some leftists for making some comparison when it comes to the representation of indigenous and black people in particular in France in the early colonial era. Whatever, it is not important, but the gist of it is that there is a specific dolphin figure that clearly has the similarities to other form of representation of non-humans in popular culture, which is extremely important to deconstruct. So if Laurie realized that, this is the thing though, I don't impugn Laurie's intelligence, she's a very smart woman, but how can she realize such important stuff when it comes to the problem of non-human and human relationship, a certain conceptual genealogy, blah blah, the problem of, and don't like become one of the worst, most bad faith and aggressive pundits for what basically is the next replacement of the dolphinarium industry with a dolphinarium lit model. I hope I could convince Laurie. I won't. It is impossible. But I wish I could have a good faith conversation with her. I genuinely wish. This is the kind of stuff that gives me some slight hope that she could be, that I could have some kind of good faith convo with her. But whatever.
We come with a mythology about dolphins that the dolphin-assisted therapy industry exploits, knowing that a desperate parent, for instance, will find it not too difficult to believe that their child can be cured of autism by swimming with this animal.
I will, yeah, this animal. I will try to go, if I was her, I would develop, but she's, yeah, okay.
Dolphin-assisted therapy and dolphin captivity is not wonderful because it exploits and limits the autonomy.
Yes, what sanctuaries do, Laurie. That's the problem. You have to address that. here's the thing. I don't believe sanctuaries are like valid. But if there was an open, good faith dialogue between activists and other activists, when it came to that matter, when we could actively discuss the modalities of this and the ideas behind, the situation will be the same. But I know Lori. I know who she speaks on Facebook, on other social networks. I know her stance on Sims. I know where other activists, either the big or the smaller one, speak about that. They systematically refuse any form of dialogue on that. When you try to question that and say, hey, wait a minute, isn't this a form of exploitation? What about the fact that you collaborate with Merlin, which is owned by Blackstone? What about the fact that it's still a form of captivity? What about the use of someone like Jeff Foster, which is a trainer that uses behaviorist linguistic and methodology? Same with Visser. What about your exclusion of Richard O'Barry from the activist sphere? What about like all of this shit? Not just that. I don't care really about people. I mean the concrete theoretical shit, like the fact that it's still captivity, the fact that you have an institutional like system with tight control and such, the fact you have sterilization, the fact that there seems to be like a plain contradiction of the notion of citation sapiency and personhood. Instead of trying to discuss this in good faith, trying to have a genuine dialogue, no, you want to dump them in the ocean, all of this shit. Again, as Vosch says, vaguely gesturing toward imagined hypocrisy all of the fucking time.
Of the dolphins, it exploits the emotions of humans.
Sanctuaries do that. They just do that. They just do that by definition. They exploit the emotion of humans. The word rhetorics, the pathos, oh yes, the dignity, there's beautiful sanctuaries, the whole idea of retirement, the kind of history narrative, the idea that they're going to be like Ivan was. I'm sorry, I kind of jumped here, but jumped the shark, not jumped the shark, but I kind of like jumped the conversation. But Ivan was. He's dead now, so I can kind of piss on his grave now. Even if I had a lot of tenderness for him, and I miss him a lot. But he was the prime Eastern. What about it? One of his rhetorics when he came to discuss sanctuaries was to use a pathetic, in the sense of pathos, right? Pathetic emotion fueled discourse, poetic, pseudo-poetic discourse about, oh yes, the wind that will caress their fins, the feeling of the crisp salt water on their burnt skins, blah blah, the caress of the sun, all of this fucking shit. No, I don't give a fuck about the caress of the sun or whatever. I want to talk about concrete form of exploitation, the legal aspects, institutionalization, control, who owns what. You have to be on that. I'm sorry, this is the spectacle part of the stream, but here you have to be a ruthless Marxist. I don't give a fuck about when an activist starts to talk about like in this poetic like the way, the beautiful, in those vague loaded terms. No, what is the exact data? What do you mean by that? What form of who are they going to be managed? Who are they going to be trained? What are the modalities of control? Who owns what? What is the legal aspect behind the sanctuaries? Like, you have to go toward, again, analytics, material aspects. This is a problem in leftism in general. Listen, I'm an anarchist. Most anarchists don't know what capitalism is. They don't know what they're talking about. Because instead of going toward not just theory, but the concrete functioning of how materially the finance works today, how exploitation functionally works today, the genealogy of this exploitation, no, it's vague shit. I don't want vague shit. This is why I never talk about captivity in vague terms. I want whatever. Even then, I believe Marina will agree with me. Like she whatever.
It puts two beings together.
But the gist of it is that the pro-sanctuary discourse, they also exploit emotions. They know that. They also exploit emotion. They refuse to have a good faith discussion when it comes to the modalities of this captivity and such, whatever.
In a confined space that should not be together in a confined space. And
right, I'm sorry,
a space that should not be together in a confined space.
What do they mean by that? Like incompatibility of species, of incompatibility of individuals? Like if you have two individuals, male and female, in the same area, they may be like, they may try to hurt the female by trying to forcefully mate with her or something like that. I don't know.
And
It may be the case because in those famous settings there was a big problem with rapes and incest and genital mutilation stuff like. When I say genital mutilation, I don't mean like FGM. I mean in the sense that you have like dominant males that attack younger males and mutilate them in the genital area, whatever. It's,
when people
we'll go over the data. We'll go over all of this fucking data, stream by stream, step by step.
think of these dolphins as being happy to be with kids, they're often overlooking the fact that they don't really have a choice. And they're not smiling. They are...
Yeah, but they don't have a choice with sanctuaries neither. That's the problem. This is why the Tear-Face program by Kenneth Levasseur is way superior. Because under the Kenneth Levasseur Tear-Face program, dolphins have a choice. They can come and go, they can interact with humans or not. That's the thing. Do you think sanctuaries will give them a choice? Like what? They will like open the gate? Some of the there are 3 sanctuaries today that do or did that historically. The Eilat one, the Rotan Institute, and the UNIXO. But as far as I'm aware, future sanctuaries won't do this shit. I mean, whatever.
being basically confined
Yes,
to be
sanctuaries as well.
exploited.
And here's the thing, like, again, I've talked about this before, but exploitation, and this is important, exploitation doesn't necessarily mean that you have to perform tricks. Exploitation can perfectly exist within the confines of just being passively exposed and people have to pay to see you. The elephant man was exploited. Zoo animals are exploited. They just are. You have them as a they are like an object. They're owned by someone or by a company, whatever. People pay to see them. They're consumed as an object of consumption. They're exploited. I mean, whatever. And she and other activists are extremely aware of those contradictions. That's why I have some extremely slim hope that I could have some good faith conversations with some pro-sanctuaries, but...
And no one wants to believe that, but that really is what's going on. Charismatic megafauna is a term used to describe a certain group of animals that we think of as being sexy, cute, attractive, intelligent. Elephants, lions and tigers, dolphins, chimpanzees, gorillas, and these kinds of animals who, we tend to focus on in terms of conservation and concern. But obviously that leaves out all of the little slimy, not...
Yeah, that's a recurrent controversy in the field of conservation. I'm not familiar with the topic enough to confidently talk about it. The gist of it is basically that the hyper-focus of so-called charismatic megafauna would put on the roadside whatever species of mold, ugly fishes, which is partly true. The counter-argument, which is used by some parts of the more mainstream side of conservation, is that basically if you conserve some megafauna by in a trickle-down way, in an umbrella way. You know what I mean? As in, if you conserve spaces where lions or elephants or whatever exist, by definition, you also conserve the space which are inhabited and used by so-called slimy animals. Then it's not a perfect argument. I don't care about this. This is a side thing. She's right on that. There is a controversy on this. This is not important.
Beings who also deserve our attention. Well, I don't think we should recognize other species as moral equals so much as on a par with humans.
Okay, what does it mean though?
I don't think, at least I'm not saying, and my colleagues aren't saying, that to be a cetacean is to be a human, is to be a gorilla. It's not. They're different. We're different species. But what we're saying is that the experiences of being a cetacean and a gorilla and a human are on a par enough to warrant moral concern.
I mean, you could, not necessarily though, in the sense that you can have moral concern even for copepods or slime. If your moral articulates itself with conservation, say, you don't need personhood or the idea of high cognition or analogies when it comes to moral, to everything that has to do with, strict analogies when it comes to high cognition, emotions, whatnot, to warrant moral consideration. In fact, you can consider that there are moral aspects when it comes to stuff like arts or even landscape, mountains. There was even like, for instance, there is a whole philosophical debate when it comes to like the possibility of terraforming Mars. Because it's considered, could it be like unethical to terraform or modify a planet at our will, even if it's like a planet, you know, like there are like, whatever, this is a side thing. But the gist of it is that my problem, I agree the big lines, but I believe symptomatic that Marino doesn't focus on the notion of cetacean sapiency, because the gist of it is that if there is something like personhood, or even the possibility to discuss with them, it poses a certain number of problems that, at least frontally, are not readily compatible with the idea of captivity or sanctuarization as we know it. It poses problems. You can discuss it. You can be on the pro-sanctuary side, but you cannot ignore those problems. That's my issue, though. It's not just, you are all fucking wrong, I'm right. It's that you can defend that. I don't believe it's defensible, but you can defend that, but you cannot ignore a certain number of key issues. And even if you were right, you're still using the bad arguments to defend that, but whatever. Like, whatever, this is not the greatest, because he's not saying like egregious shit I disagree with. It's morely, I'm mostly catching her in her contradictions, basically. But that's
and to show that these are the kinds of beings that really suffer in very similar circumstances to the way we suffer.
I mean, my problem is, yeah, that's true in the more social aspects and stuff, but the thing is that stuff like depression or stereotype, we'll go over and make an ethology stream, but basically suffering or frustration due to the fact that they can move in their enclosures or under the effects of under stimulation or whatnot is something that is quite universal in most, not only like vertebrates, but even invertebrates, is multicellular organisms with a central nervous system. Listen, I've even seen that in like crayfishes and whatnot. It's not, but whatever, this is not important. This is a detail, this is not important. I'm just,
Understanding
whatever.
other animals is about understanding the difference and the sameness at exactly the same time, simultaneously. And that's true for octopus, for honeybees, for chimpanzees. And that's very difficult for us to do, but that's what we must do in order to really understand who we are in relation to them.
Yes, but because I think that to understand who we are in relation to them, we have also to look at culture on the discourses we have with them. This is why it's kind of sad, right? She had that intuition when it came to the dolphin figure as a specific figure, blah, blah, but she didn't went forward and try to explore that topic, because if she had done that, maybe she wouldn't have that discourse when it came to sanctuaries or whatnot. It's not just about how they are, like, cognitively speaking, it's about what kind of discourse we have built up on them. On the pro-sanctuary discourse is an example of an extremely biased discourse, which is clearly shaped by the fact that we exploit them on the civilization and cultural background of that, on which we are not exploring enough. Marino is not going forward with this, which is extremely fucking sad, because again, I oppose her. I have a lot of grievances against her, but she's a smart woman, and unfortunately, fortunately, but unfortunately, whatever you interpret that, her and a lot of other people, same with Ivan, same with Malcolm G. Brenner, same with Same with even someone like Justin Gregg. Know that there's a problem. They realize basic shit, but they don't go forward with that, which is extremely fucking sad. Whatever. I wanted to go. You know what? Tomorrow I will go. Probably with Richard O'Barry. I'll make a Richard O'Barry segment. Oh fuck! I hate Visser. I will go over Visser as well. Whatever. Tomorrow, stream. Blah blah. Okay. So bye.